right, thanks for joining, Jennifer. We are nearing the end of the Education Summit, and like we always like to do, we like to do these special correspondent interviews with some of the VIPs that we get to hang out with. And Jennifer, you were one of the ones that was chosen because you guys are doing some incredible work with Julie and her company MetaVRse, and we'll get into that a little bit. But so thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited about the possibilities XR holds for learning, training, education, and we're pleased to hear about your experience developing an XR educational program in an enterprise setting. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what does your role at Siemens Healthineers entail? What's your background and how did you find your way into this position?
So for me, it was an educator's dream, right? We're transforming our customer education. Over time, I grew into my current role, right, where we were utilizing our currently global head of design and focused on developing for our personnel. So I have a team of a group of consultants, application specialists, automation. So they're split between the web. So our goal is to look for new ways. What we realized very quickly in the pandemic was one of the most challenging was technical training. So for our service engineers specifically, giving experience in hands-on for technical training for our analyzers and products was something that we really wanted to be able to not just design knowledge transfer, but give them something that could improve learning outcomes, improve that critical thinking, as well as foster that applied logic for things like troubleshooting. So that was the main scope they were aiming towards when we started working with Metaverse.
Awesome. So the adoption of XR is growing rapidly, but in the larger scheme of things, it's still relatively new, and many folks are still waiting for more evidence and more case studies and other people to try it before they're willing to jump in and invest in this. So what motivated you guys to go down the immersive 3D path and blaze that trail? Was there a particular aha moment that inspired you?
Definitely, right? For us, we were able to digitalize our application training a little bit easier. I remember our team having a call and one of the girls on the team really saying, it can't just be about the software, we get the hardware, right? So it was the same time, if most people remember, where Google came out with the AR Easter Bunny. It sounds kind of silly, but there was no required. And it was a big aha, right? Because we needed to invest in making immersive education of both our hardware and our software, to deploy that into one environment. And that collectively was a big aha, yeah, for sure.
I love, that's my favorite part about being in this industry is helping to enable those aha moments within different industry sectors and having those SMEs then apply it to their practices as well, because then you guys become the expert in XR within that sector. So that's super exciting. So was there a specific problem that you were faced with that you were trying to solve by adopting immersive training? What made you guys decide that an immersive 3D solution was something worth investing in?
So for us, demand for technical training was increasing, right? We had to deploy more digital strategies to meet the new environment by having resource sizes. And so timely training is critical to our business. As our field organizations, we're supporting the pandemic day in and day out. And that was something that was a very critical topic in our business. And so we knew we just couldn't hope away the problems that we were running into globally of bringing people into training centers, anywhere from, I remember in February, starting out in China, being shut down, and then going to EMEA, and then to the US, and then to the wider Americas. So we needed to step boldly into different areas for sure.
Had you guys tried implementing or piloting other VR AR solutions before the one that you guys are currently using? And what did your team learn from those experiences?
Yeah, definitely. So we had several solutions that we tried out between 2018 and 2021, right? What we learned was that everything was very application based when you started talking about augmented reality, or it was very headset based if you started talking virtual reality. But we wanted something that was less restrictive, something that we wouldn't have to have another API integration, or another app for people. So we wanted something that could be more open, and used in any type of cloud environment.
Yep, hence why we're talking about the wonders of WebXR right now. So then you chose to use the Metaverse engine for your project, which is a web-based collaboration development application for XR content. Was the fact that Metaverse is web-based and accessible on a computer a factor in selecting them to work with? And why were desktop immersive experiences a good fit for what you guys were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so VR headsets, in our company, were not equally distributed, right? AR was complicated. There were mobile dependencies, right? And so when you think globally, right, you have to also think about tracking that training. So headsets, AR, right, and tracking training. WebXR and the immersive experience allowed us to move into knowing that as the future evolved, we could move into those outputs later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, and so what has the partnership with Metaverse been like, and how have the two companies worked together as SMEs and XR and, SMEs in the medical device field? How did you guys collaborate?
Yeah, definitely it has been a fruitful exchange, right? And it's been a journey to work together, is all I can say, right? They know the technology, and they also roadmap that we don't have. And combined with us understanding the content, right, as well as the education of that content, yeah, three things combined make this a great partnership.
Absolutely. Partnerships are what make everything stronger. So let's talk about results now. So how many learning experiences have been created to date? How many learners have gone through the immersive training you've developed, and how many do you anticipate accessing them?
Since the partnership started, we've released two major trainings, right, where we've put that metaverse, as well as our other assets into the environment, right? And in total, that has reduced about 6 days of instructor-led training. We've had more than 100 people that have been able to go through the training. And I know you showed the video before, right? But as you can see, we've got a multitude of products that are really, we're in the midst of development. Alone will release probably 12 in the next quarter.
That's amazing. And so are there any results that you're able to share then about the successful transfer of knowledge through this project, and how effective have the immersive virtual experiences been in supporting that learning?
Yeah. So for us, right now I can't share all of that, but what I will say is when you start to see a service engineer tell you how amazing that is, and what a great support for learning it is. And then when you start to sit down with somebody who really doesn't even understand, doesn't even speak your language, right? And they intrinsically understand how this will help them, right track.
Yeah. And so do you see immersive training as eventually replacing more traditional modes such as lectures, videos, slide decks, printed materials, etc.? And so then what does the future then of learning look like with these new tools at our disposal?
Mhm. So especially in technical training, right? I see a large growth coming in this area. In engineering, I ask myself, why do we need schematics anymore, right? Or why would we even consider having people procedures. This is going to change how we work in the future in many capacities, for sure.
And so what were some of the biggest challenges that you anticipated facing in launching this program? And what have been the biggest challenges in practice?
Yeah, I believe that the biggest underestimate we had was the cultural change, right, that we were imposing and the communication of the concept in general, right? How could engineers not be trained on site, right? It was such a cultural change and a step forward in our company. And because most took a faith-based effort in what we were doing, there were challenges in terms of time to develop and convincing, right? At the same time, working with Metaverse, right, we realized that, we weren't providing what was necessary in order to make the process more agile. So at the same time, we were stepping into the area of assessment in 3D, and that was something we didn't even have standards for, right, on how to design assessment style questions. So many lessons from the partnership in general.
Yeah, and not only lessons for yourself, but really lessons for any enterprise like yours that's trying to incorporate immersive learning experiences into their practices, because you guys are really setting the standard for this. So yeah, thank you for that. And so we do have one more question left. So what other stakeholders are involved in this project, and what has their response been?
Yeah, no, well, thanks for asking. First, there's so many people to thank, right? Because, from my team, right, to our trainer teams, but really our stakeholders, our business lines, they in good faith, right, have supported our efforts to digitalize. We also have our country organizations who take those trainings, that we collaborate with to do training. I think once they get to see the results, right, they've really been impressed. So yeah, excited about, for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to see where it goes from here. I know you guys, you said you had success in your last deployment, and you guys are planning to continue on, which means that it obviously drove some really good value for you guys. So that's great for everybody that's listening to hear, especially coming from you guys from Siemens Healthineers. So thank you for spearheading this effort on behalf of your company and on behalf of the industry at large.
Well, and honestly, thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you, Jennifer. Really great to have you here on the summit. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.